for our riders out on the darkened forest road. Padraig has just flung the goblinish creature into the woods and tells you that they're especially nasty, and they get bigger and stronger the more often they feed.
Do they travel in packs?
No, they travel alone because they want the whole kill. This was probably a young one, but if they feed 4 times, the legend says that they become unstoppable.
Look back at Martin, Loverboy Martin. How's he dealing with this, holding his lantern?
He is, well, the colonel took the lantern from him.
Oh.
The bottle of Old Tegan is gone somewhere, and he is asleep in his saddle. Snoozing. I need a perception from Robyn, Blanka, and Bjorn.
Ooh. Wow. 35.
Oh, shit.
22.
She does the perception.
You both get the perception. Bjorn doesn't know what's going on. He's looking back at the drunken Martin, wondering if it would be great fun to just give him a poke and push him out of his saddle. The first thing that happens is a flurry of dead leaves comes floating and drifting down onto the road, only where your horses are. Now, it's June. There's no reason leaves should be falling, and these things are crispy, October-looking leaves. The next thing is that you hear sobbing, almost like a woman sobbing, from the trees off to the right. But with your decent, it sounds like a woman to Blanka, but Robyn, you know it's not a woman. It just doesn't sound right. But you hear the weeping and repeating over and over, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm so very sorry. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm so very sorry. Almost like a rhyme.
We need to go. She looks worriedly over at Blanka. That's not a woman.
It sounds like a woman. What do you mean?
It is not a woman. There's something that is, she says it in Gaelic, tinny, not natural.
Try to pierce the darkness and see if there's a visual to match the audio.
There is. You can see it because of your low light vision. You see something crouched next to a tree. It looks like almost like a jackrabbit sitting on its back haunches with rabbit ears straight up.
Look away.
It's about 3 feet tall. Its eyes are kind of amber, and its tail is wrapped around the trunk of the tree several times, and it is wringing its paws. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm so very sorry.
Go back into the woods and leave us alone. Suggest.
Do you want to suggest?
Yep. That's 4th level spell.
Okay.
Tis merely a suggestion now there.
Let's check that out. Let's see.
So glad Blanka's here.
The DC for that is a 26.
That's what I thought. Okay. It just merges right into the tree trunk. And then you hear the muffled voice. I said I was sorry. I said I was sorry. I can help you get him back.
Damn it.
Did he say what I...
Yes, he said get him back. It's a trap. I don't I trust our guide more than I trust some creature in the woods.
But he doesn't know where to go.
I don't care. I'm not falling for this trap.
Padraig says, that's a bloody Fooka. That's what that is.
Oh?
And at once, the Colonel and Padraig get very nervous. Martin sleeps.
Wait,
Bjorn hefts his axe and looks for a target.
what did you see, Blanka?
I didn't mean for him to come to harm. I can help you get him back. I know where they took him.
Look to our guide. Describe what I'm seeing or what I saw and his current actions.
Crosses himself again. Says, I've only seen them. I've never had a conversation with a Fooka. I don't know if they tell the truth or if they lie. But we've all got our iron spurs. So if it tries anything, you should be protected.
Dismount. Motion everybody to just wait here.
Robin's going to dismount if you do.
Don't approach it, but cover me.
Okay.
Move forward.
You hear a rustle of fabric and the big heavy hammers being drawn back of the Yeti.
Yeah, Robin doesn't know she's going to be made deaf yet.
Cross to within 15 feet of the creature, if I can do so.
To the tree that it blended into,
Yep.
you see a slender, hairy black arm with a four-fingered hand emerge from the tree like it wants to shake hands with you.
Smile.
Please, don't hurt me.
How do you know we're looking for a friend?
You're looking for Bani Elkind. He came with you to the estate, and I took him for a ride, and it was only a game. It was only a joke. But then she got him.
Help me find my friend.
The head comes out of the tree after the hand. I will. I will. I will take you. He's under the hill.
I don't like being out here after dark, hunting for a friend because you decided on a lark that he shouldn't have.
Another hand comes out and covers his eyes, and he sobs. The rest of him is still in the tree.
Show yourself.
He steps cautiously out of the trunk.
Robin holsters her pistol.
What are you?
I'm a Fooka.
What's your name, Fooka?
You just said it. Blink, blink.
You are what you are, and you have no individual identity.
I am Fooka.
Fooka, will you lead me and my friends to Bani Elkind?
I will. I will take you under the hill.
If you cross me, or if you mislead us in any way, you will regret it. Are we understood?
Yes. It's my fault. I never should have taken him for a ride. It was a joke. It was a trick.
He's a generous man, and you took advantage of that. Take me to my friend.
Sob, sob, sob.
Do not outspeed us. Our horses have a maximum gait. We will follow you.
It's not far. It's never far. The first world is always near us.
Who or what is he in the company of?
He is in one of the courts.
I'm guessing as Keith that we're dealing with some kind of fey creature, but I don't think Blanka has any experience with this, so she's just going to play dumb.
Well, Bjorn can understand him and says, I think he's talking about the fairy court.
Hmm.
And the Fooka's ears wiggle. He is with the Seelie or the unseelie.
I understand courts. call for my horse and motion for our guide to follow the Fooka. I'll mount up on the ride.
The Fooka gestures at the woods where his tree was, and kind of glowing and appearing out of nowhere is a golden path leading in the distance to a stone archway with a beautiful light behind it.
Detect magic.
You detect magic. Oh, yeah.
The whole.
Oh yeah.
I will hold the party up long enough to study the magic, to at least understand the nature of it before we venture through it or into it.
You hear Padraig muttering to the colonel, Colonel Akana, none of us should go. The colonel says, I agree. I won't take Martin in.
Robyn walks Martin's reins, just the horse reins, over to the colonel.
Colonel takes it and he says, I go into battle with you, even against the Fae, but I won't go into their world.
I believe our friend's in there, and I can't leave him there.
And we'll be waiting to welcome you when you come out the other side. I have every confidence in you. If I had anything to give you to make your journey easier, I would, but I've given you what I have.
I don't know if this will reach you from where we're going. I ride up alongside of him, touch him on the arm.
Give him a message.
Yep.
Okay.
I will let you know when we are safely back.
For safety's sake, we'll be back at the house, and Padraig will be with us. Padraig says, I'm not going to Macabin alone tonight. Too much foulness going on out here.
Hey, keep an eye on Constance. You know what trouble she's in.
I will. I'll position myself outside her door myself.
Perhaps inside the room would be more appropriate. I know
Colonel
it's
says, I'll take that watch. Good luck. And he shakes everyone's hand with his manly military grip.
so. It's me, Robyn.
And Bjorn, of course.
Bjorn,
You can never stop him from going into danger.
I know.
are you going to ride up the path or are you going to dismount?
How long does the path look?
About 50 yards.
Maybe we give them their horses?
Bjorn,
We'll get out.
how do the Fae deal with horses?
I don't know.
Oh, that's the Fooka.
Fooka?
Good night.
Good night.
Love you.
Love you too. See you in the morning light. Good night. The Fooka says, I've never seen a horse in the courts.
I don't think we're going to need them where we're going. But I hate to leave them to the forest at night. Let's send them back with our companions.
Padraig takes the tethers of the reins of all three of your mounts. We wish you good luck again, and then they turn and head back. Cousin Martin murmurs something that could be Cornish, or shit, it could be Fae.
Mimic one of the local toasts I heard at dinner back at them just as a sign of honor.
The Fooka is looking like he's doing the pee-pee dance, standing on the path, rubbing his hands.
I will lead out of pride, not out of responsibility, and head towards where he's going.
The Fooka hops ahead of you. Every few jumps, he turns and looks back to make sure that you're still there.
I'm thinking it's like the Wizard of Oz, where you have like kind of like the flanking of. Well, one's a Viking and the other is like a shorter Clovian woman.
That's right. And in the background, in the trees, a midget is hanging himself. It's perfect.
It's hard to find good work these days.
Right. The Nazis have infiltrated the Munchkin people, and Dorothy's high on coke most of the time. Fooka leads you on toward the archway, and he just keeps waving you forward. Come, 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 come. Hop, 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 come, come. The three of you approach. The light doesn't hurt your eyes. It's incredibly bright, but it seems very welcoming. And the Fooka hops through the archway and disappears.
One last detect magic before crossing through.
Holy shit, yes. The whole area is glowing.
Turn back to the group and just make sure they understand the abandon that we are releasing in order to go through here. We have no control over this.
Let me just say that I'm much happier being with you in this rather than like the Ember Road experience that I had alone. No offense to over to Bjorn.
Big job.
Well, you felt the same way.
He's rubbing his iron axe, just muttering, "This is bad. This is very bad. Very, very bad. This is bad. This is bad as a bridge."
We crossed the bridge. We'll cross this. Step through.
You step through. Robyn, do you join her?
Right behind.
And last comes the Viking. The three of you find yourself in a 5x5 cavernous tunnel. Bjorn has to significantly stoop. It's snaking downward at a fairly steep rate, but the floor is worn smooth by eons of feet, and it's a checkerboard of sea green and gray tiles, most of them cracked or in pieces. Light in here comes from occasional orbs of bluish light floating up near the 5-foot ceiling. And anytime you come near one, it darts away.
Fooka.
What, Fooka?
Fooka's gone.
You don't see a Fooka in front of you.
Robyn mirrors her younger sister's sentiment. This is the way?
Look behind us. There's no way back, correct?
There's not even a door. It's just a rock wall.
Fight back the flashbacks. Just fight them back. Brick
Bjorn
wall.
is scratching his iron axe against the wall. This is bad.
Put your folklore away. Let's just treat this like a reality and move forward.
Oh, yes. It has all the trappings of reality.
Move forward. Stroll casually.
You casually stroll down a fairly steep tunnel. It twists and it curves, and sometimes it climbs, but mostly it descends. There's times where you actually can stand still and slide 5 or 6 feet across the tiles because it's so very steep. The Viking is just muttering, cursing, and complaining in goodness because this is cramped quarters for him. The two of you are light and breezy, but he's not happy. You're not sure how long you descend. It could be 5 minutes. Sometimes it feels like you've been doing it for hours. But time is starting to get a little weird. You're losing a sense of it. You say something to each other, and then a moment later, you're wondering, did I say that, or did I just intend to say that? About the time when you're starting to question your sanity, the tunnel emerges into a larger cavern with smooth rock walls and a ceiling that arches up above about 30 feet. There are stalactites, and numerous bluish orbs are swirling and floating up there, lighting the entire cavern. The cavern is 6 deep and 40 feet across at its widest point, and the entire floor of the cave is floored in that same green and gray broken tile, only it's level now. There's no slope. As you're about to enter the cavern, flanking the entrance are two golden statues of winged Alakar-looking type men in armor with bows. At the far end of the cavern is a tall gray stone statue of a sexless winged creature with a blank expression holding a sword. Sitting before it is a red padded throne, and in front of that is a high writing desk. If the throne has an occupant, it can't be seen because of the dancing flame in the center of the cave. And on inspection, within that flame spins a slender winged creature, his or her full of joy as it dances within the fire. Midway down each wall to the right and left is a pair of peaked, 20-foot high double doors covered in gold filigree and strange characters. They are identical. And there's no Fooka in here either.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here with us to see this crazy.
Take a closer look at the statues closest to us. Alakara golden statues.
They look like Alakara, men in armor with bows, but they're winged.
Looking at their technology level, bows, we know Alakara, even the Rincani, are kind of limited in their technology to bows and crossbows, etc. Does this feel fairly modern or kind of ancient?
Very old. And they could, as you think about it, they could be Rincani. You're not sure. The gold statue doesn't really betray much.
But they have wings?
They do.
Mm-hmm.
And the stone winged figure at the far end of the cavern is even less detailed.
And in front of us is a desk and a throne.
Yep.
Is it on the other side of the fire?
On the other side of the fire, so you only catch it in glimpses beyond the fire.
But the twittering shape that's flittering around the flames, in the flames, above the flames?
In the flames.
Is between us.
Yeah. You can walk around it quite easily.
The blue flitty lights that are near us, those are similar to the ones we saw out in the wilderness.
Yeah, only they're blue instead of green. And anytime you start to really stare at them to try to see what it is, it moves and you lose focus on it. They're the same orbs that kind of trailed you down the twisting cavern.
5 foot by 5 foot.
Just to kind of test their sentience, issue a command for them to come close.
Does blue light?
Yeah.
Command, and you hear from the far end of the chamber the voice of what sounds like an old man. They don't work for you.
Is that language in Cornish?
You're not sure, but you understand it perfectly.
Oh, okay, good.
Could be in anything.
Look to the fire and beyond. Who is speaking?
You can't tell. If somebody is sitting in that throne, you cannot see it. It's really high backed.
Oh, facing backwards?
No. You've got the chair and the writing desk. And then you've got the back of the chair that climbs up high, and then you've got that statue behind it. If somebody's in that throne, you can't see them from where you are.
Who calls?
Who calls? Who came to me? You identify yourself.
I am Blanka.
Oh, wonderful for you.
What is this place?
Bjorn leans forward. It's the underworld.
I didn't ask you, I asked it.
We will be devoured by a giant wolf any moment now.
Shh, quiet.
Don't shush.
Don't invite dangers we don't already imagine.
She tugs on his beard lightly. Like, let her do her thing.
Oh, you know, I like the rough stuff.
I know, it costs extra.
It's coupon day for you every day.
Let her do her thing.
What do you want?
We are seeking a friend who has traveled into your realm.
I doubt you have many friends down here.
Yeah.
Are you going to be rude and just stand in the doorway to have a conversation?
If you will show yourself, I will know where to present. This is a courtly presence, is it not?
Don't you show yourself. Approach me.
I walk to the fire,
Follow.
illuminate myself properly, motion for my friends to follow.
Whatever is in the fire, this asexual, spinning, fairy-like creature, it's as if you don't even exist. There's just such joy on its face as it dances in the fire. But it doesn't appear to be whatever's speaking.
Move to an angle so that that does not obscure the desk and the throne. Speak in the general direction of that area.
As you step around the flame and look toward the end of the room, you see that there is a hand up on top of the writing desk, drumming its fingers. They're very long, they're green, they're tipped with claws. And behind it, you see what looks like wildflowers, but you're not quite sure.
Just a little bit of caution before I let arrogance fly. Detect magic.
Everything detects as magic. The walls, the fire, the ceiling, you, your companions. You quickly realize that it's essentially become a useless spell.
Everything is a high beam.
That's right. It's
Again,
your pegged tessimeter.
I am Blanka. What is your name?
Bloodwed.
Bloodwed. Sorry to intrude on your chamber. We were en route to find a friend, and our guide has vanished. We are looking for passage through. Can you guide us?
The drumming hand stops, picks up a quill, and starts to scratch on something.
Try to observe the writing if it's intended for us or not.
It's a tilted desk. You'd have to be probably where he is to see whatever he's writing. But if you move at all, you get a better look at what's in the chair.
Do so.
It looks like a throne, but built with a big-ass booster seat, because whatever's sitting in it is maybe 3 feet tall at the most. It looks like a little old man, but his teeth are either filed or grew that way into little points, claws. His clothing is made of drooping moss, and his hair also looks like moss, and he's wearing flowers, like a little haight-ashberry crown on top of his head. And he's green.
Reactively, Robyn just like interjects her body onto the front of Bjorn to prevent him from, I don't know, just like attacking, and she'll try to distract him.
We're in the underworld. I'm not an idiot. But are you certain you want to be between me and the potential target? Is that really where you want to be?
Are you a bear? She looks up at him.
Ask Bani.
Are you a bear?
I'm always a bear.
Are we a welcome intrusion in your chamber, Mr. Bloodwick?
He looks around and you see that he's got sunken eyes, very small and black, an overly large nose, and he grins with almost like a shark grin and says, "A welcome intrusion. Aren't you the oxymoron? Or without the oxy?" What do you want?
I told you we are looking for a friend. We're passing through and looking for a proper exit.
You see that whatever he's writing or touching, including the quill, starts to grow wildflowers. And he sweeps it all away as if he's irritated and strips the flowers off the pen and goes back to his scribbling. You really have a friend here? What's his name?
Bani Elkind.
He starts turning pages, and every page that he touches grows wildflowers.
Would you like me to turn those pages for you? Perhaps I can stop that annoyance.
He leans forward and looks at you, points a clawed hand, silence, and then snickers into his book. He is here somewhere.
Is it part of your responsibilities here to aid travelers?
I will ask the questions.
Ask good ones.
Okay.
Perhaps you would like to sit in the waiting room for 1,000 years until your attitude improves.
It might take that long.
Let the world move on without you. I will ensnare you in a casket of thorns to make it more interesting for me.
She gets poked from behind. Like right like on the butt cheek.
It wouldn't be as interesting as you think for us to wait that period of time before interacting once more.
If your friend is here, what do you think you will do about it?
Well, you just told me he was here, according to your ledger, so I was hoping you could help us to meet him sooner rather than later.
Is that what you were hoping?
It is what I intend. I'm hoping you will be compliant in that.
Compliant. I am the Chamberlain. I am the guardian of the courts. None may enter without my blessing. So perhaps, he leans forward and waggles a clawed finger, you should keep a civil tongue in your mouth.
As your ordained guardian of this space, I bow to your power and ask that you will let us enter this kingdom.
All of you. All of you. Bowing. Now.
Give him courtly grace.
Imitate her courtly grace.
Bjorn gives him a bow, but keeps his eyes on the creature.
Mm-hmm.
He claps his hands together and causes wildflowers to grow from his palms, which seems to make him irritated, and he rubs until they disappear. Then he reaches out his arms on either side of the writing desk and points at the two doors. Choose your court. Seelie or unseelie?
He's in either one.
I will take the Seelie court.
And which door is that?
Are you indicating or are you asking?
It occurs to me, young lady, that there is a difference between what we want and what we get. Sometimes it's the same thing, but the choice
nightmare parent.
is yours.
Mr. Bloodwig, are you an official in the respect that your office comes with certain powers?
Did you just call me Bloodwig? It's Bloodwed. Bloodwed.
Yes.
Disrespectful humans.
Sorry, Mr. Bloodwed.
And there is no Mr. It is just Bloodwed. You may call me Chamberlain or Master.
Chamberlain, in your office, do you have any responsibility to those in your keeping?
Yes,
And what is that responsibility?
I control the gate.
And
You
in
must choose.
controlling that gate, you keep those on the outside, or you determine who gets from outside to inside, yes?
Any fae can lead you to the courts if you are foolish enough to enter of your own free will. Where you go after that is up to you.
You stated earlier that our friend Bani is within the court, or at least within the court's purview.
I did.
Then we will go forward. I care not whether it's seelie or unseelie.
Then choose.
I take the door on the right and proceed.
He points to the door on the right, and it silently swings in and open, revealing another descending, twisting 5x5 corridor lined with the same cracked green and white tiles.
Farewell, Guardian.
Farewell.
Give a nod of some respect. Look at Bjorn and say, well, at least we haven't pissed ourselves yet.
That comes later. Deeper into the underworld.
It's the first world.
Hopefully the Valkyries can find me down here.
I'm right here. She just smiles at him.
Another 5x5 tunnel descends even further, twisting and coiling, bluish orbs lighting the way. After some unknown amount of time, high-pitched flutes and angelic singing can be heard up ahead, as well as the giggling of children. Soon a lavender light begins to glow, and then at the bottom of the descent, the tunnel opens into a large cavernous space. The opening is flanked by an odd-looking cherry blossom tree growing out of the rock, and opposite, a waist-high egg covered in condensation and trembling. As you near, the leathery top of the egg opens like petals, and a pink haze seeps out. There are lights, mushrooms, more eggs, more trees out in this cavern ahead of you.
In its stupid reaction to the bloom, hold my breath.
The singing and the music stops abruptly. The giggling that you heard turns to whispers. The egg grows a flower, just like that. And it looks like the petals of the flower are closed with some kind of liquid inside of them.
Move forward. Release my breath.
You step past the egg and the tree.
I'm looking down into the vessel that is the flower. What color is the liquid?
It looks yellow, but that could just be because the petals of the flower are yellow, or it could just be clear.
What's beyond the flower?
It's growing up out of this egg. The best way I can imagine it is an egg from Alien, the way they split open.
Thanks.
But this one has this funky yellow flower that grew up out of it instead of a face hugger.
That is better than a face hugger, I will say.
It is.
Nothing else in the room of note?
Yeah, there's quite a bit more out in front of you. As you are peeking into the flower, you start to get a little high. It feels good.
We're looking for Bani.
Totally.
In the underworld.
She looks like she gets when she's drunk.
This is so stupid. Why would he wander off like this?
Pull her back because it's Bani.
Of course it's Bani. But why are we following him?
Because he's trapped here. You're not yourself. She kind of like does a light smack, pat.
Hey, I don't like it rough. Sorry.
From here, you can look out into the cavern. And it looks like there's a bizarre garden growing out of cracked stone where the trees are enormous. There are twisted and multicolored mushrooms so big you could stand under them. Eruptions of crystals of all colors from the walls and the floor. More of these eggs, more cherry blossom trees, and this blue-green moss that everywhere it grows, it gives off illumination. Above, there is no cavern ceiling. It's the sky. It's the shade of a rose. The sun is a heatless cherry orb, and the clouds that drift over slowly are the color of cotton candy and the same consistency.
This place is like one of my childhood dreams.
The air is sweet and fresh and a little dizzying, and everywhere seems to have movement, but only peripherally. Anytime you turn to look at it, there's no motion whatsoever, nothing head on.
I keep seeing things in my periphery, but when I go to focus on them, I can't focus.
Wait,
Do you see the same?
the same. It is there and then it's gone. It's almost as if when you wish to focus on it, it's gone. Same with you, Bjorn?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never thought that the underworld would be so beautiful.
I swear I had this dream as a child. What is this Seelie or is this unseelie? We don't even know.
I don't know that you can tell one from the other until we are greeted. Those within the chamber, we have arrived for your entertainment. Please show yourselves.
Entertainment.
And instantly, a girl in golden green, she's only 2 feet tall, with translucent butterfly wings, peeks out from behind a massive yellow and blue toadstool, looks at you, and then starts to timidly approach. She looks like if you said boo, she would burst into 1,000 pieces and disappear.
Robyn like instinctively like kneels down as if she's about to speak to a smaller child.
She
Blanka-
creeps
Blanka holds
slowly.
her breath and remains motionless like a statue so that even the air isn't disturbed.
The little girl approaches. She's got a beautiful dress. It looks like it's handmade, and both of you ladies realize it's probably not made out of a fabric. Can't really tell what it's made out of. When she speaks, it comes out as a helium voice, and she asks if you've come to see the Queen of Light and Laughter. And I can't do that accent.
Have you come to see the light and laughter? I can't do it either.
Using courtly graces, treat her as a messenger of the court and nod the affirmative.
She smiles, and it's the most beautiful child smile you've ever seen. It's quite possibly the most beautiful child you've ever seen. And then she gives you a curtsy where she actually holds out her dress and her wings flap a little bit. And then she gestures out into the cavern. You will find what you seek. And then she scampers away and disappears behind a mushroom.
We don't have much else to do here but follow what the whims of this place are, so head in the indicated direction.
You make it probably 25, 30 feet. You think. Distance a little different. You see that clustered near a smooth rock wall is a grouping of multicolored mushrooms growing from a soft bed of blue-green moss. A small spring spills from the mouth of a stone frog and into a crack in the blue crystals sprout everywhere from the cave floor. Reclining on the moss is something that you've all seen in Chels. It's a satyr, and he's playing pan flutes, and he is ringed by female sprites, pixies, grigs, and they all just are looking at him with total adoration, and he's just sucking it all in. He doesn't stop playing, but he smiles and nods toward a bare patch of moss nearby.
Move towards the indicated open area motion for Bani for Bjorn
Bjorn.
and Robyn to follow and present ourselves to the satyr. Bow.
He
Robyn
plays
follows.
a little flourish and then stops and says, "Sit, enjoy the music."
We are in a bit of a hurry, as a friend of ours is in the realm, and we have an appointment to join with him once more.
Nothing is more important than music. And then he continues to play, and all the sprites, and they all sigh in chorus on key, of course.
Oh dear, we're late. We're late for a most important date. I think I read this story.
I'll say the word friend to him, cast him a smile, and I will try to charm him.
Charming as satyr.
Charm the satyr. Should be interesting.
That's a little bit of arrogance that is not beyond her, right?
Right? When visiting the underworld, make sure that you try to charm a satyr.
When visiting the underworld, guests of the underworld stay at the Radisson Park Hotel.
Under the toadstool, of course. Oh, gee.
You're doing a basic charm.
Mm-hmm.
The satyr squints his eyes like he's just heard the funniest joke and continues to play and throws you a wink.
We understand one another.
Robyn is going to wander a bit towards the bare spot of moss. Is it literally like a flattened area of moss? Does it show itself as something?
Looks like a spot that you could sit. Imagine like a glowing blue-green carpet.
Oh, okay.
Next to a flute-playing hippie.
But before the
from the hips down.
before the flute playing hippie, he was just basically saying, "Here's where you can sit." Okay.
Yeah, he's indicated it a couple times, but then he just continues to play. And the sprites and the pixies just
relent and sit.
Robyn will not sit. I refuse to be a merry man.
Are you sitting, Blanka?
Mm-hmm.
You drop down, make a will save.
I will.
You do.
28.
You needed a DC 28. You feel the entrancement of the music, and you kind of get the feel that you could just recline here and enjoy the music and fantasize about what the satyr would do to you in private or even in public. And then you kind of shake it all off and realize that maybe it wasn't intentional, but if you keep sitting here, you may have to check again.
Put a hand up to my companions, letting them know we're not resting here and not to sit down.
Bjorn reaches out, grabs your hand, and jerks you unceremoniously to your feet.
Robyn did the other hand.
Don't touch things. Stop touching.
The horror. The horror.
Friend, we are unable to stay for the full performance. Can you indicate which direction we might find Bani Elkind?
Oh, he immediately nods deeper into the cavern.
Of course. Deeper.
Follow.
Eric, I'm so sorry to have to keep you stranded like
I
this.
know.
Breaking
Hey.
my heart.
I'm just
Here you are.
just waiting.
away.
I've got all sorts of words in me, I'm sure, when the time comes.
Yes, like, oh, I love you so much.
Oh, I'm sure I'm going to be in a compromising position by the time that all this happens.
The three of you pass under what looks like an archway made from mushrooms. It's hard to believe they grew that way, but apparently they did. And almost a hippie bead curtain of that glowing blue moss. you part through into a small round cavern. There is another such archway on the other side, about 30 feet away, and you hear the deep rise and fall of snoring off to your right.
Deep. Like, okay, do estimation. I mean, like,
How
Bjorn,
deep is deep?
Hey, right? Is this Bjorn like snoring like a big man, or is this?
It's much deeper than that.
Okay. Just checking.
And if you've even walked into this place, you see that the only thing in this little cavern is a hugely muscled, 7-foot tall man in leather armor, green cloak, and a long white beard, sitting with his back against an enormous black and yellow mushroom. He is wearing a full face helmet that has enormous elk antlers mounted to it. And at his right hand, one gloved hand rests upon a broadsword. A dull red glow comes from the eye holes of the helmet, and his shoulders slowly rise and fall with the snoring sound.
Is there a way past, around, or through to anything of interest?
You could walk through to the other archway without disturbing him. Bjorn grabs you both by your upper arms and says, "It's the master of the wild hunt. I have seen him in picture books. He is spoken of in our legends. Don't wake him up."
It's too bad you put on all that perfume. You'll make him sneeze.
Robyn, can you get across to the other side of the chamber without awakening him? Wait and watch Robyn.
She.
Are you doing anything special?
Well, it would be only the quietest. I'm creeping through an urban jungle, trying not to be shot, kind of a.
We all know how to walk softly and quietly. You cross the chamber with no issue.
When she's like halfway across, so there's light here, there's ambiance.
There's more of those blue orbs, and everywhere that blue moss is, it is luminous.
She looks back at Blanka and gives like a nod, like.
And then, of course, you've got the open rose-colored sky, cherry sun, and cotton candy clouds. There's plenty of light in here.
She's been here in Dreamland. She really has. Creeps to the other side quietly.
And everything smells as good as it looks.
Turn to Bjorn and have him cross the chamber next.
Shink, shink, shink.
He clanks across as quietly as he's able. He does have a stealth.
-6.
See, he creaks, clanks, and bangs a couple times as he gets across, and there's a deep snuffle from inside the helmet, and then it smooths back out to the snore.
My turn. Cross the chamber and join my companions using stealth.
Go ahead, roll it.
Oh, sure, you got to roll.
You're not a ranger.
Not a great roll. I rolled a 6. My stealth is a 12, 18.
Robyn, you notice that tiny little Blanka makes about as much noise as the Norman did when he climbed.
She does this.
Bani, are you two moving through the archway? Through the hippie curtain of...
On the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
if Blanka safely makes it over. She just tried to like slow her down.
Yeah, the three of you have made it across the chamber. I'm just wondering if you're going through the curtain into what's beyond.
Sure, assuming we don't eat it.
At this point, I've abandoned reason.
The snoring continues unabated, and just before you step through the curtain, you see the girl that you met when you just came in. And she pops into the room behind you, into the chamber where the huntsman is sleeping, and in her helium voice says, "If you don't want to wake him, never do this." Throws a pebble and bangs it off of his helmet and giggles and runs back out of the room.
Bitch.
And the snoring goes on.
Everybody's frozen.
Bani, you open your eyes. They may have already been open, but you're not really sure.
She's have departed. Okay.
You are sitting with your back to a tree. You're sitting in ash up to your hips. The temperature is chilly. It's probably in the 50s. The tree you're leaning back against as you look, it's a dead tree. All around you are either black trees or dead trees, and there are thorny vines everywhere. Through the branches above is a star-filled night sky. There is movement in the trees. It's all peripheral. But the only thing that you are able to see head on at first are tiny red eyes that seem to be everywhere up in the branches and all around you. Squatting in the ash about way is your beautiful, naked, tattooed girlfriend.
Do I still think she's...
Oh, she's
still my girlfriend right now.
Slash owner.
It's probably time for you to make another will save.
Oh, please God. That is a 28.
She's not your girlfriend. Although you have a vague memory of promising to serve her forever as her slave, to love her as no other, and to die at her command. That all kind of sounds familiar to you, but you're not sure why. You also notice that you are dressed, but you are only dressed in a loincloth made of leaves and a vest made of leaves. But your clothes, your shoes, your boots, your equipment is not there with you. You're not bound. And even though she's not feeling like she's your girlfriend, you're still a man. And she's
still pretty hot.
Yeah. But there's this whole turnoff about where you are. It's just not sexy.
Yeah, I this isn't working for me. Especially just considering the fact that I'm now in a loincloth. Just not my thing.
But you still smell like eucalyptus.
It's probably what got me here in the first place. I am just observing. Is she aware of me, or is her back turned, or?
No, she's staring right at you.
I stand up.
You stand up?
Yeah.
And so does she. And as you stand up, you kick up a cloud of ash dust all around you. You see that her eyes are kind of a glowing lavender. She says, "Where are you going, beloved?"
I'm just maybe you could tell me where I'm at? Where am I?
Well, you're under the hill, of course.
What does that mean?
What do you mean, what does that mean? I knew I picked you for a reason.
I
You're almost as sharp as Lyle.
Well, thanks for
Maybe
comparing me.
sharper. Maybe.
Well, I'm here and he's not, right? So,
Yes,
so
you are.
what
Of
have
your
I?
own free will.
I get it. That's kind of hazy for me right now. Of my own free will does not seem like what actually happened. How about you explain it to me? What have I done of my own free will?
You pledged your never-ending love to me.
Yeah?
And then you begged for me to take you home with me. And so I have.
Oh, my wife's gonna be furious.
Wife.
You get married. It's
She
kind of
starts-
like slavery.
She starts to Victoria's Secret walk toward you. I'll make you forget about her.
I don't. So you probably would, but this place, it's awful. Ash on the floor, all these thorns around me. I don't feel comfortable here. How about we make a better home than this?
It's not nice for you to insult our new home. Your new home.
Well, maybe I would have made a better choice had I known everything I was getting into.
I think you made the right choice.
I don't know.
She kisses you and stops your protesting. It's really difficult to pull away from it. Are you going to pull away from the kiss?
Do I feel a draw like I might lose my mind again if she kisses me?
You think if she keeps kissing you,
I
things are going to get even more serious.
I turn my head and step away from her and go, I don't know. I think we could probably put some curtains up or maybe a house. You like wooden houses, right? Just chop down some trees and make a nice wooden house right here.
Oh, her lavender glowing eyes harden and get brighter. What did you say?
I don't
And you
know.
hear growling coming from the forest around you.
I'm just a simple human. How do you do it here? Do you chop down the mushrooms to make a house?
Mushroom.
Maybe.
She actually turns and spits into the ash. Mushrooms.
It's just. I think that it would be good to have a bed to sleep in. I mean, on the floor is nice if you like ash and dirt.
She
Not really a
taps her
fan.
chin and says, I think you should sit down and be a good boy. Make a will save.
Oh, man. Gotta play this game. 17. That's a 32.
You don't want to sit down and be a good boy.
This
And she scowls and folds her arms.
I move up to her and I tap her on the chest, on the sternum, and say, maybe you should sit down.
You have to make an unarmed attack roll.
What is my 11 plus 15? That's a 26. Just reach up and tap her.
You actually do tap her right before she darts away from you. Bitch is quick. You barely touched her, and she lets out a angry, spoiled cheerleader noise. Familiar with that noise? We've all heard it.
Wait, you're promising all of these desires, and you can't even fulfill any of them. And I lean back and I tap my chin.
But you love me.
Uh,
Save.
shit. It's going to happen eventually. 13 plus 15, 28. I've got a really high will, so that's...
You don't love her.
I just don't think so. I don't think the magic is there. Whatever brought me here, it just seems like it's gone, vanished, without a trace. I can't even touch you. What's wrong with that? I move
Because
forward.
You're being rude. Hang on.
Oh. Oh God! I changed my dice to a different.
Yeah, the classic neon yellow. There you go.
Yep.
Something that won't get you completely permanently gone.
Yeah. Well,
So we're
I'm
gonna
just
we're gonna melt the metal ones down.
they were rolling 17s and 15s and stuff earlier. I was doing pretty well for some of the perception checks, but if it's a will save, it's something else entirely.
Those are
This one's a reflex save.
Okay. So
I am a ranger.
yeah. Well, let's
Repeat
see.
the mantra.
Not bad. That's at 29. So I reach out to touch the side of her face and step towards her.
As you step towards her, thorny vines erupt out of the stone around you and try to get a purchase on your legs and your boots, but you're able to step ahead of it. You have an action series to do what you will. Turning the table. So I touch her face. I pull her close. I give her a kiss, and see what. Did you successfully? What did you roll for your?
Oh, not attack. Not attack. Oh, I missed the attack.
So you reached for her face, but she dodged away.
Why do you?
And she's starting to huff and make a face. Are you going to do anything else? You have 3 actions.
Are your lips agile?
Oh, absolutely. I'll try again. I'll move in close, and I'll try and reach for her and pull her close, kind of a grapple, and see if I can get a kiss out of this. That's a 21.
You do not succeed. Are cantrips in a different section, or are they alphabetical along with all the spells?
They should be alphabetical. And I'm going to try one more time. So why do you evade me? I thought we were in love. You don't even love me. Why should I love you? And I'll move again. This time it's a 17.
Next time on Fairy Divorces.
So that's a total of a 32 on that last.
That was what, your third attempt?
Third attempt. That's right. It would be 32 minus 8.
Minus 8 or minus 10?
It would be minus 8 because hands are agile, right? Unarmed attack.
Minus
Okay.
8.
Minus 8.
Yes,
So
no.
19 or 20. No. That's
32. You said 32. I thought you said 32.
Yeah, 24. It's a 24.
Okay. That's what my calculator says.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, you almost kissed her, but
Damn
you darted away again.
I don't understand. Okay, we'll see what the result is.
He snaps off something that sounds very angry. Let's see. And you are... attempt a spell against the target. So that means she just either hits or doesn't. It's not opposed, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there. Well, if is there not a will save or a save against it?
No, it's an attack.
Okay. Usually that means it's a 2-hit. You roll a
Yeah.
2-hit. Okay.
So 18.
But remember, you're wearing leaves.
I am more agile than.
36.
Oh, she totally. That's actually.
She points at you, and a vine erupts from her finger and lashes you. And it's sticky. And was that a critical
That was a
success?
crit. That was totally a crit because I'm naked. My proficiency.
You gain the immobilized condition and take a minus 10-foot circumstance penalty to your speeds for 1 round. Next round, you can attempt to escape against your spell DC.
Okay. I'm basically grappled at this point.
So you fall over into the ash with a big puff, and she shrieks something with her last action and runs out of the clearing, disappears into the dead trees.
It's always the way with girls. No, sometimes I just no damage. Just I'm bound by a vine at this point.
By a sticky vine, yep, it's got you immobilized. In other locations with our friends, hey, at least you're conscious.
Yeah. You're just on an episode of Fae Divorce Court. It's all good.
Divorce court. Okay. The 3 of you pushed through the curtain into a fairly decent sized cavern. It looks like there's an opening about 40 feet away across and to the right. In here is a grotto of fantastical mushrooms, flowering trees, luminescent moss, and more of those blooming eggs. Tiny fairies flit about like gnats, all of them glowing in a rainbow of different colors. Their voice is a high-pitched hum. You can't even tell what they're saying. It's so high-pitched. In the midst of it all, perched on a rock, is a 14-foot tall, 800-pound woman in a with Celtic symbols. She has dozens of long golden braids behind her and a fur cloak. She also has curling ram's horns and golden shimmering eyes. You don't need any kind of lore check to know that you're looking at Fae. She looks sad and flustered and confused, and before her is a haystack-sized pile of golden thread, and she appears to be holding hundreds of strands in one hand and a small pair of golden scissors in the other. And she's muttering to herself, saying, "Oh, they're just so hopelessly tangled. I should just sever them all and be done with it."
Done with what?
She snaps her head up, and you see her fingers move like a classic harpist. She drops the rest of it and is holding just a single thread. Blanka Bess. How do you do?
Have we met?
Strokes the thread with the edge of the scissors, and you feel a chill like someone just walked over your grave. And you see down here, there's a knot in your string. She picks up the knot. I did that for you.
Are you fate?
Car bomb, I believe. Snipped you cleanly where I was supposed to, but then a higher power told me to knot it back up again. Oh, and look, there's Bjorn Oleander. She reaches in and
Not-
pulls
not.
up something that looks like a fucking knotted gym rope from Junior.
That figures.
Oh.
She says, "How you keep at it, I will never know. And your companion, Bani, his is almost as bad as yours." And then Robyn, she pulls out a strand, and it's got a couple of knots in it. And she runs the scissors up the side, and it makes you shiver. Then she just grabs a big handful. And you see that there's no way that your strings are not in there. And she's, they're so confused.
Are you
Tangled. What?
Are you trying to mend the skein?
I am Elfara? Eldafra. My mistake. You may call me Lady Eldafra. Am I trying to do what, dear child? Mend it.
Lady Eldafra,
Yes.
am I in Fate's chambers?
You are?
And before you is the skein, correct?
Destiny, fate, aging, life, death.
I have read about you. I did never expect to see you in flesh. You are rendering our futures?
She scowls into the mess, grabs the scissors in her teeth, and pulls out two knotted strings that are now tangled and knotted together. And she says, Oleander and Elkind, look at them. And somehow they've gotten completely intertwined and knotted together. What am I to do with this?
What does the knot represent?
That is yet another chance at life. They were cut, and that should have been the end of it. But then orders made me tie them back together.
I suppose we all answer to someone.
Who keeps tying these together?
It's not you?
What?
You are the master of the skein, correct?
I am a lost Norn, and she throws her hand against her forehead, very Constance-like, and does the big drama queen thing, and then it goes away.
She goes away?
No, the drama.
Oh,
The drama fades. And
She
scene.
leans forward and says, I've spent too much time this close to the prime, and I cannot find my triumvirate. Do you know where to find it?
move closer. I want to get a better look at Fate. I want to be within breath's distance.
You do, and she allows it. You'll have to move up on the flank because of the haystack of golden threads.
Robyn follows.
You
She
two
lets
feel,
the individuals look.
and Bjorn stays at the back of the room, holding his iron battle axe and scowling. You feel the power coming off of her, but you also sense it could be sickness. You're not really sure, but something's not right with her.
Your name again, my lady. I'm sorry.
Eldafra.
Eldafra? May I assist you in your endeavor?
If you were a Norn, you could. But here you would just become lost in the lives of others. And you would never return.
I cannot aid you in any way in your troubles or tribulations.
You can take that cold iron away. It disturbs me.
She's motioning towards the ammunition.
Yeah, which I'm assuming is in the rifle, but she's pointing at you, and the same thing with Robyn. Take that cold iron away.
I pull it off and look towards Bjorn. I can't throw it all the way to him, but hopefully he'll come close enough. So I
Hangs his head, walks over to
toss him the rifle,
Give
fiddle
him
for the
my
ammunition.
pistol.
he takes it from you, walks back across the room. And Eldafra smiles. Something that her face does normally. You can tell by the way it wrinkles up. It's almost like Wednesday Addams when she smiles. It's just not nice. And she says, "Aren't you both well-mannered girls? I will grant you a fortune if you wish."
I wish to find a friend. That would be the fortune I wish to obtain.
Oh, and you shall. But that is not your fortune.
What do you mean?
You are stalwart. You are strong-hearted. You will find your friend. She pulls out the tangled double line with oleander and alkand. He lives. I have not cut him yet, but very nearly so.
May I reach out a finger towards the thread?
She shakes her head. Foolish girl, you will become lost in it. Do not trifle with fate.
Withdraw the approach. Can you direct us towards him? I don't mean to interrupt your
Work?
She gestures back toward the opening at the other end of her chamber. That is the only way you will find him.
Are you sure there is nothing we can do to aid you?
Hear me. Dead kings in clover, deep in the dark, open the box to tear out his heart, but stand by with the blade lest the mortal world be slayed. And then she goes back to fussing and fretting over her pile of threads, as if you guys don't even exist anymore.
Robyn, did you hear reference to the box? Did you hear what was said when we first arrived? I believe it was
Hyacinth?
Hyacinth. Don't open the box.
I remember something about a trident. I don't remember a box.
I believe opening the box does invite trouble, but if fate can be trusted, or if our advice is sound, perhaps this blade is a measure to counter whatever is in the box, and perhaps would release this family from whatever burden overlaps them with another world.
I don't believe in fate, so this is very difficult for me.
She believes in you. I saw it on this game.
She stops fussing with the thread, turns and looks at you with her golden eyes, and you don't? And pulls a single thread out with one knot in it and runs the sharp side of the scissors up it. Oh, you feel like someone just poked you in your woohoo with an ice cream.
Let me clarify that I do not believe that we have no influence, such as we are talking to you now. No influence in our fate.
She drapes it over the arm of her chair. I think I'm going to be needing this very soon. Now, please carry on with your beliefs and values. And then she starts muttering and gets back into her threads. You can't take your eyes off that one thread hanging over the edge of the chair. Maybe it's yours. You're not sure. You felt something when she touched it.
It only had one knot. Mine had two. No, sorry.
My mistake.
She would notice that detail. Oh, there are two. Never mind.
Bjorn skirts the room to keep the cold iron away from her and gestures for the two of you toward the other entrance.
Give a courtly bow to Aldafra and follow Bjorn.
She does not seem to notice.
Robyn holds on to Blanka, not like an older sister, more like someone who needs to be taken away.
Bjorn gets really close to Robyn, bends down. You're stupid.
That's all you have?
He's not a poet.
That's enough.
So we're going to re-roll up Robyn because, the whole Herod God thing is like,
You just don't announce it in front of fate. That's the thing.
I don't believe in you.
That's like, I don't believe in fate. Oh shit, she's right there.
This diseased creature thinks it's fate. Yeah.
Ken, I gotta tell you, that's gonna go down as one of the greatest gaming lines ever.
Standing in the room with fate. I don't believe in fate.
I believe in you. It's like you're there with the Jedi. The Force isn't real.
Even Santa Claus has a lightsaber.
Santa Claus.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, Bani.
She takes her gun back from Bjorn.
Bani, you get to make another reflex save to try to break free.
Okay. I'm using my reflex. That puts me at a 21. Probably not good enough.
No. Struggle. Kicking up more dust.
Did I see where she went? Did she just leave?
It's really hard to tell because it's nighttime. It's a dead forest full of ash. Lots of red eyes still looking at you. She could have ducked into the trees in just about any location, or if she really is a nymph, literally ducked into a tree.
Yeah. I'm going to take another chance to break free. That one is a 27.
You do. You struggle loose of the ash-caked sticky vines. Do a perception, please.
It's okay. It's a 24.
You hear a creaking sound above and behind you. And as you turn and look, you realize that hanging from a noose on the very tree that you were leaning against is a corpse in rusty armor, creaking in a gentle, chilly breeze that blows through the trees but doesn't disturb the ash. The body slowly twists toward you, and it opens its milky gray eyes and says, "Have you come to take my place and spare me my fate?"
I'm sorry. No.
He hangs his head. It's never yes. Creak, creak.
Hey,
Turns away from you.
Is there any way to release you otherwise?
He creaks back around, opens his eyes. "Have you come to take my place and release me from my fate?"
Sorry, dude. You're stuck.
Never yes.
Does he have a sword or a blade or anything on him?
He does not.
Okay.
He looks like he's probably about 2 weeks dead. But here,
Who knows
maybe
what
that's
2 weeks
true.
actually means? Yeah. Okay. Well, now that I'm free, I look for her and I call out, "Where have you gone, love? You've left me."
Silence greets you. Just the sound of the breeze rustling the dead branches.
I am now on a mission to find my stuff. And I'm going to be calling out to her as I look in the nooks and crannies and see if I can find where things may have been stashed. Like in the hollow logs, or if there's any like stumps that have been dug out or anything like that. I don't know what to expect if I can find it, but yeah.
So the first thing you discover, not knowing to expect it, and realizing that you are barefoot is that underneath this ash, there's a lot of sharp granite. A lot of it's sticking straight up. It's cutting your feet. It's stubbing your toes. It sucks. And as a guy who's got like a thing about stubbing his toes, it's like one of the worst horrors I could put into this room.
Yeah. It's like
Um,
stepping on Legos and
Yeah.
and all that.
You are you moving out into the trees?
I am going to gingerly walk into the trees. So it seems like there's paths, or at least there's depressions or places that are commonly traveled in this
They
space. I don't.
could be pathways, they could be trails, they could just be the way that the trees are growing. But it's hard to tell with the ash. And the ash is almost shin deep.
Oh, damn.
And as you walk, it kicks up into a cloud that you have to wave away because it's not good.
I am going to gently step. So if stealth improves that, I will use stealth to move around inside of it without stirring up too much. But
It's really going to be more of a survival thing.
my speciality. That is amazing.
Another one. Oh no, it's
No, it's better.
the wall. Save the ones for
Yeah,
really
only
important shit.
when it's really important, because I rolled a 19, so that puts me at a solid 35.
So you use the force to keep your feet from getting banged up. As you move into the trees, you notice that there's not just granite sticking up, there's rubies, and they're freaking everywhere. And they're like the size of a golf ball. Some of them are raw, some of them are faceted. You pick it up, and it's almost the size of an egg. And there's something that tells you that this is a real ruby. Like this back in the prime would probably be the biggest ruby in history.
I'm thinking
Or close to it.
thinking of a pocket, and the only pocket I can think of is the pocket I don't want to use.
Yeah. The prison pocket.
I'm gonna toss it on the floor and take a note that I should probably gather a few of these before I leave, if it comes to that.
You toss it, it kicks up a cloud. And you notice that ahead of you in the trees is a low stone wall that looks like hundreds that you've seen since coming to men in the countryside. This one is running through the forest. It looks like it's only about 3 feet high. And as you approach it, you see that there is something maybe 30 feet up, crouched on the stone wall. It's a slender figure in rags with straggled hair, elongated limbs, and gleaming white eyes. And it is absolutely Blanka if she were undead. It's shifting nervously and clicking its teeth as it looks at you. And it's really disturbing because it's definitely Blanka as a corpse.
So it's not, it knows, it's well aware of me being there.
Oh, yeah. It's looking right at you, clicking its teeth and
Oh, man.
shifting.
I am just pushing down any revulsion I have right now. Blanka, it's good to see you here.
As soon as you say Blanka, it moves forward as fast as a spider, about 10 feet up the wall toward you.
I pick up one of the rubies quietly and I throw it at one of the trees across the way.
You hear,
Does the thing in front of me react when that happens?
Not a bit.
I quietly move away from it. It's still looking at me, right? It can see me?
It's still looking right at you. Its eyes are white and dead, but it's tracking you as you move. And now it's running its hand through its hair the way you've seen Blanka do when she's like bored or irritated.
God. Blanka? I just say it quietly. Blanka?
And it spider skitters another 10 feet closer to you. It's now 10 feet away, trembling. Its limbs are probably twice as long as a human. And now you notice that the fingers are tipped in claws that it's nervously tapping and rattling against the stone wall.
I am going to step away. So where I threw the rock into the trees and I heard a grunt, I'm going that direction. But I'm going to do it very quietly and just avoid whatever's going on with this iteration of Blanka.
Are you going to climb over the wall?
Yeah, well, is it on the far side of the wall right now?
It's on the wall.
It's on the wall. Okay.
It's crouched on the wall. I might even have a picture.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to go towards it, but I want to go towards it. Is the tree that I hit is on the other side of the wall?
I visualized you throwing it across.
Throwing it over the cross wall. Okay. Well, so I approach the wall and I touch it, and I'm watching her. If she starts moving close, I'm gonna step back.
You approach the wall. You touch the wall, and without a sound, it spins and races off into the trees. It jumps off the wall, flees through the ash, and disappears in the woods on the other side of the wall.
Oh, I whisper, what the fuck? And then I step over the wall and I start moving towards where I heard the grunt, because maybe there's somebody I can talk to. Hey, who did I'm sorry I hit you, but is there somebody over there?
You're moving out into the trees with the wall behind you. You're not seeing any people, not seeing the ruby anywhere. But what you do see is at the base of one dead tree, there's a black iron cauldron half buried in the ash, filled with gold coins that are spilling out of it. Empty whiskey bottles, whole and broken, are scattered all through the ash, and there is a small black bowler hung on a low branch.
I'm looking at all this, but I'm gonna knock on the tree, say, "Hey, hello, is somebody here?"
Bonk, bonk, bonk. This feels like a dead tree.
I'm gonna take this gold and take it home, okay? If you don't mind. And I think your silence is permission if I do that, right?
The only thing you get is the quiet breeze blowing through the trees and pairs of little red eyes watching you all the time.
I think I'll just take the hat. I reach over and I pick up the hat. And I put it on.
It's like putting on a 4-year-old's hat.
Oh, so it's a little, okay.
It looks quite hilarious, and if your friends saw it, they would take a picture and never let you live it down.
Especially
during your birthday.
I'm not getting a reaction, so I'm going to put the bowler back, and I'm going to I'm just going to call out, is there anybody here?
You hear whispers coming from every direction that start chanting the word forever, forever.
Okay, I scoop up a bunch of the gold, and I walk back over to the fence, and I climb over the fence, and I look for probably pick up a ruby on the other side of the fence and see if I can find an alternative to the forest on the other side of that.
So you've got a handful of the gold coins you took from the pot and a ruby that you took out of the ash.
Yeah.
As you walk the forest in your leaf loincloth.
Yes, I am prepared for something.
You are ready for something.
I've got a ruby. I got gold coins, and I got a loincloth made out of leaves.
That's right. I'm going to take the loincloth off, and I'm going to use it as a sling
To carry the stuff. Oh,
for the ruby or the coins, whichever is
Are
heavier.
you just gonna free ball it and
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm
carry your
kidding.
coins in your leaf loincloth?
It may get to that. Let's just say it may
Never
get to
saw
that.
this coming. Back with our other intrepid heroes, you have left the room or the chamber with the Norn. You find yourself in an area of shimmering crystals, and these things are tree trunk size, erupting out of the stone. Huge, multicolored, and fragrant mushrooms, glowing blue fungus, and scampering across the fungus are six-legged, bright pink lizards. There is, in the center of this space, a palm-sized naked girl wearing scanty purple scale mail. It has pink wings, and she crouches playing fetch with an equally small white dragon-like lizard. A cluster of pixies flit about, giggling at the little dragon's antics. So the girl is that big, and so is the little dragon. As soon as you walk into the area, she looks up and just beams a smile at the three of you. Welcome. I'm Winnie. Who are you?
Hi, Winnie. My name's Blanka. These are my companions.
What a beautiful name. And your name is Companion? And so is
Robyn. Robyn.
Companion Robyn and Companion. Owls and doesn't talk to fairies.
Doesn't say much.
He thinks it's a bad idea. And it is.
Winnie,
She throws the stick, and the dragon flies over to it, grabs it, and brings it back to her. She strokes its scaly head.
we have journeyed for hours looking for our friend, Bani Elkind. Do you know him?
Oh, yes.
How fares he at this moment?
How fair?
How does he fare?
I was going to say, I find him very fair. But
Have you met him?
how does he fare?
Hmm.
That's an entirely different question. You should ask Fia.
Fia.
Fia. Where might we find Fia?
She's in the Unseelie court.
That is where we're headed. How do we get to the Unseelie court from here?
Oh, go on the way you're going. But you must speak with the Queen of Light and Laughter, or you will never leave.
We have missed the Seelie court. Is it more advisable to go to the Unseelie?
She laughs like that is hilarious, and all the little pixies join her in that laughter. She says, "Silly Billy, you're in the Seelie court."
Where's the queen?
She gestures. It's on the course that you're taking. And then she reaches into the grasses behind her and pulls up an egg. You know those little hard candy coated chocolate eggs at Easter time? That's about how big they are.
Mm-hmm.
She holds something that looks just like that up and says, "Do you wish for an egg?"
I do not wish.
Good choice.
What is the egg for?
It's for a pixie dragon, of course.
Like that one?
It
How
will,
much?
It will bond to the first one it sees. But they're
How
very
long-
delicate.
How long does a fairy dragon live?
She whispers at the fairy dragon. And then she laughs. She says, well, they're eternal. Of course.
I think I'll pass. I don't know about you, Robyn.
I have plenty.
Why am I tempted? No. It's a terrible idea.
Perhaps another time.
Thank you.
We'll go on to see the queen.
She
Crazy
looks
cat
very
lady.
disappointed and goes and sets it down in the grass. And where she sets it, you see there's probably at least a dozen sitting in the grass there.
If this is currency here or in the mortal world, that would be a great prize. But I won't trade it for Bani.
Mm-hmm.
Traded for Bani. Mr. Elkin?
Yes,
I can't sell you, Mr. Elkin.
but you can indicate his direction.
Didn't I?
You did. Thank you.
She reaches down and grabs another egg. Do you want an egg?
Is there anything that the Queen of Light and Darkness likes?
Oh, don't ever call her that. She's the queen of light and laughter.
The Queen of Light and Laughter. Is there anything that she
Please.
likes?
Don't mix your titles. She'd be very offended.
She will cut you down like a bitch.
She hugs the egg. The little tiny dragon seems to purr. She has no use for all of them.
Why do I want one?
Robyn, focus.
But they're so cute.
And loyal.
Loyal? Mm.
Get you a cat.
I already have a cat.
You say cat, and all the fairies squeal and start spinning like a tornado.
We have to go.
Winnie clutches the egg. You didn't bring a cat with you, did you?
No. Follow me. Robyn, do as you will.
Bjorn
Rob-
follows you. I'm
Oh,
afraid I'm going to step on something and kill it without knowing.
If we don't get out of here soon, I'm going to lose my mind.
I think we did.
If every chamber here is real time, that's great. But this could be weeks or months, and I don't have that much time to give in reality.
Shall I remind you about the Ember Road nightmare?
No, you keep that inside.
Okay.
You pass out of this chamber. Bani.
call out for the woman again just to see if any response happens. Is there a tree on this side that's not dead?
No, probably about 2 out of every 3 are dead. The other ones look black and look like they're on their way. But as you move through the trees, you hear some soft sobbing coming from up ahead.
I'm wielding this ruby now, like the faceted ruby. I've got the point sticking out. I'm wielding it like a weapon. I'm actually using the gold as like a way to, like throwing dirt in somebody's face type of thing. It's just I'm ready. I'm moving towards the sobbing now, but I am cautious.
You move toward the sobbing. You come upon a cluster of 7 or 8 children huddled together around the base of a tree. They're all in knickers and dresses. They're all probably 5 to 8 years old, based on their size. And they all have their hands over their faces, and their shoulders shake as they cry. It looks like a style of dress that probably hasn't been around 100 years.
I'm going to observe for a moment. I am not going to engage.
They continue sobbing. One of the boys reaches a hand out and rubs the back of one of the smaller girls, and she hugs him.
Now that I can see their faces, are they normal? Do they look normal?
You can't see their faces. They're all
Oh.
facing the tree.
Okay, I am going to take a wide circle, stumbling around through the dust or whatever else is on this side, until I can look at their faces. If their eyes, yeah.
About the time you get into a position, they turn and take down their hands and all look at you. They are white-skinned, rotting, and dead. Their eyes are empty black sockets, and they all begin to giggle and point at you. And then, in a swirl of ash and dead leaves, they all disappear.
This is just getting better and better. Walk up to the tree. What is this tree? Is it one of the black ones that's dead or dying, or?
It's actually one of the black ones. It's not quite dead.
I'm gonna draw a B in it.
You draw a B in the side of the tree.
And then turn around and walk back and retrace my steps. There's got to be an exit. There's got to be a place. I've got to look. I'm looking. I'm now just going to be wandering in concentric circles from the hanging man to see if there's a way out.
As far as you know. And so once again, Bani goes wandering in an unfamiliar forest full of whatever. Back with our other companions, you have fled the space with the person offering the little egg. You emerge in an area and you see that this is nestled within a ring of high toadstools, towering crystals, and curious cherry blossom trees is a large golden throne. Heaped around it are dozens and dozens of fae of all conceivable shape and size, piled upon each other. Imagine if you had 100 puppies and just started dumping them onto each other. What that would kind of look like. You've got heaps of living creatures piled around this throne. All fae, all different sizes. Some are sleeping, some are blinking and yawning, some are whispering to one another. It's constant shifting and movement, but all the open eyes are on you. And seated upon the throne is a beautiful woman with long red hair, milky skin, dressed in green and white robes and jade jewelry. She has magnificent green wings that just span out to her sides beyond the throne. She appears to be normal woman-sized. Her eyes shimmer with gold, and she wears an amused expression.
Robyn's smiling. Light and laughter.
He smiles.
Bow as appropriate in these circumstances in court.
Bjorn bows maybe a little lower than you did.
May we address the court?
Come forward. Her voice is beautiful, lilting. You can imagine if she started to sing.
Better than Shirley Temple.
I am Hamada. You may call me Hamada or Your Majesty, whatever you prefer. Welcome to the Sealy Court. Then she leans forward with this amused expression. What were you thinking coming here?
Well, we started down a path and there didn't seem to be a way to retreat. So once the decision was made, it seemed logical to follow through.
Isn't it that way with so many things in life?
Mm. Yes. And I'm not here for aid or scolding or a lecture, but perhaps a moment of conversation and some aid in finding a friend.
Just so that we're clear,
Mm-hmm.
you're telling me that you didn't come to scold or lecture me, correct?
I wouldn't think of it, no.
Very well. Then I appreciate your courtesy.
Queen Hamada,
Yes, dear.
We have lost a friend. We believe we've lost him in your realm,
I am well aware. Nearby.
nearby. We have passed many of your court or your those within your dominion along the way here, and they continued to guide us to you as the pervading power in the area.
As was my wish.
Oh. So we are here at your beckoning.
You are here at my encouragement, but you were all brave enough to enter my realm, and that was of your free will. Your friend? Not so much.
Bani he surrenders his freedoms with regularity.
Well, he has made quite a decision, not entirely of his own, and perhaps not at all of his own choice. But then he is a complicated creature.
It's not too late to reclaim him and take him with us as we depart.
But he is human, yes?
Ah, yes.
And mine is the first world. What do I care for the brutes lumbering about the material on their short and pointless lives? And she delivers this with no malice, just talking about the weather.
We bring no entertainment to the first world?
You are there and gone so quickly. We don't really get to know you. And please don't be insulted, but so many of you are so predictable and you travel the same course of life, really giving nothing back to the natural world. It's difficult to form a bond.
Indeed. Bonds are the real fabric, are they not? Friendship, adversaries.
Do you learn about adversaries?
Do I what?
Do you come to learn about adversaries?
I have enough of my own already cultivated in the prime, as you call it. I need no further adversaries here.
And you have invited a good deal more since your arrival. Not within the realm of the first world, but in your world.
What do you mean?
Would it even make a difference if I told you?
Probably not.
You're like mayflies.
Well, yes, but maybe we might make a difference in our own mayfly way.
Even a mayfly knows its existence is fleeting, but takes advantage of that time. So might we.
That is an interesting philosophy. Do you have 1,000 years to sit and discuss?
In this realm, perhaps.
I am so very amusing. And on cue, all the heaped up fae twitter and giggle.
Robyn gives a smile.
Turn and scowl at Robyn.
She's amusing. Be quiet.
He says, Blanka, yes? It was Blanka.
Yes.
Blanka. Normally, the first world and your world are far apart, with only the occasional connection. We live in your folklore and your memory and in your dreams, but rarely do we interact. But now is different. Our worlds have moved close together, and they remain close together because of Matic.
Magic?
Matic? Are you not familiar with Matic? It's amusing sometimes what humans do and do not know. Sometimes you know strangest things that you have no business knowing, and then completely misunderstand what everyone knows. Anyway, Matic is Maeve's consort. And he's become very angry because he is not allowed to rule either court, and he wants to rule both. And he has decided that if he cannot rule the courts, that he will rule on the prime material. And that is where he is now, assembling his red cap army. And because he has chosen to dwell on the prime, he has interlocked our world. That means that those of the first world can go from your world as they please. And that is quite amusing for some, but rather dangerous for others. In addition, that conflux has attracted darker beings that enjoy the atmosphere. And so, as I'm sure you've found, there are creatures in your world that you have encountered that have no business being there. And that has not changed. It has also created an essence that the evil feed upon, the one they call Gentle Annie. She has her eyes on the children. The fair Deard has his eyes on the girl Constance. And poor Abigail. Oh, well, you'll find out about that. There's much ado. And as long as Matic is on the prime, it will continue. There's much evil afoot from the Unseelie court, and my sister will do nothing to stop it.
Is Maeve head of the court for the Unseelie court?
She is. She is the queen of silence and darkness. You will meet her, for you must pass through her realm if you pass through mine.
The path is one way.
It is. But if you survive her realm, you will likely return to your world.
Why is the box something to be opened or not opened?
The box. I cannot speak of the box.
Cannot or
You are forbidden?
I cannot speak of the box.
And your sister?
She will certainly speak of the box. She may even present it to you.
oh.
In doing so, does she bring peril to your world or mine or both?
There is little the Fae can do to my world, and nothing you people can do to my world.
We've done a lot of damage to our own and adjacent worlds. Why are you exempt?
Sadly, that is true, and sadly, that is what your kind is known for. Self-destruction. I wish it were otherwise.
A fleeting life makes one want to glow bright.
Yes. And I've looked into the future, and indeed, you could grow very bright. But not in your
Not in my realm, huh?
your realm, my lifetime.
Your lifetime?
I have answered many questions for you because you amuse me. What would you ask of me? No one comes before a queen without asking for something.
We seek the weapon to repel what comes from the box. If your sister holds the box, surely you have the means to quell what is within.
That is a very perceptive and insightful statement. I'm quite impressed with you, with all of you, except for the big quiet one over there. This is quite impressive. I will answer your question and I will give you gifts to help you on your way. Which do you wish first, your gifts or the answer?
Answers would be more courteous.
And I believe in courtesy. You asked for the weapon. And I say you already have it.
Does it dwell within the heart or within the hand?
It dwells within the home of a tortured man.
Bani?
He laughs. I think that's pretty funny.
Who is this tortured man? Is he an associate of ours or a stranger?
Some guy.
In the home of a tortured man, then, and that is all I can say.
It's in the library. It's Ismay.
Ah, in the home of a tortured man.
Reveals nothing.
The tridents?
Must we return to the material plane to fetch this weapon, or may we proceed without it?
You asked the question of what you may need it for.
Yes.
Then you have your answer.
I believe Maddox is on the prime, and he vexes the whole family. His presence there must be neutralized for things to become normal.
And I do not disagree, even if he only vexes them incidentally because of his presence. But he will not keep him or his armies hidden for long. He covets what the humans have. It is a small step, but it is a beginning.
Coveting is the beginning of failure. Or success, if you are so inclined.
Do you have a millennium to talk about that? Very intriguing.
I do not. My queen, if it may pass to your sister's realm,
As you shall.
I believe I have completed my questions, and I am prepared to receive your gifts if you still wish to offer them.
She claps her hands. The gifts! And a couple of trollish, frumpy-looking fairies with no wings come lumbering out. They have hats made from leaves or perhaps someone's cast-off underwear. They come forward with baskets. They place the baskets at, and she says, toadstool wine, mint leaves, nuts, and berries. And of course, spectacles.
To see.
Turn to Bjorn. Is he still wearing his glasses?
Bjorn is not wearing his glasses. He only wears them to read.
Does he read?
Oh,
Raise my shoulders in a cringe, wait for his rebuke.
I'll offer him
He's
the
a simple
glasses.
man, and in goodness, he says, fuck you.
The tone is all Robyn needed to hear. She offered the glasses?
Do you open to the baskets?
What do you say?
Queen Hamada,
Yes, child.
I appreciate these gifts, but I have been warned that receiving gifts from those of the first world can trap me here forever. Is that true?
And if I were that type of queen, it could well be. But not these gifts. These gifts are from the heart.
I thank you for your generosity. Look into the baskets.
In the baskets, you see what looks like a small leather bottle with a round cork in it, and 3 leather pouches.
Hold them up individually and look with a question towards the queen.
She says, mint leaves, nuts, and pink berries.
In your world, these are rations, curatives, spells?
Now, they do thing for the people of my world, but in your world, you will find them most beneficial. And when you return to your world, you can use that tiny drop of fae that you have inside you to determine their nature. For you know that you are of the blood. Yes?
Yes, my mother tells me.
And there's also a pair of round wire-framed glasses sitting in the basket.
Pick those up, look through them without wearing them.
Very human.
You look through them and things look a little kaleidoscopy.
I'm not going to cast spells in her presence. I will just trust that these gifts are good for us, package everything up, hand it to Bjorn if he'll take it.
He takes it like you handed him a bag of snakes, hands up and puts it over his shoulder. And,
Thank you, Queen Hamada.
It was delightful. We will never see each other again. Pass that way. And she gestures toward a tunnel.
We go that way.
You leave the Sealy court.
If the Queen of Darkness is the exact opposite of that, that's going to be very bad.
You pass a 3-foot-tall troll urinating on a pumpkin.
At least it's on a pumpkin, not in a pumpkin.
True.
I think I'm gonna follow that pumpkin's lead or the troll's lead.
Right. Robyn will too. Give him pumpkin.
Yeah, this is an actual intermission. Should we? No. We'll be back.